Hello friends. On July 1st, 2026, three separate federal rule changes hit American seniors at exactly the same moment. And the government did not call anyone, did not send a personal letter to anyone, and did not hold a press conference that reached the people most affected by any of the 3.1 of these changes is bad news for a specific group of seniors whose monthly payment is now at risk of being frozen entirely. One of these changes is good news for seniors paying full price for a medication that could now cost them $50 instead of up to $699. And one of these changes affects every single person receiving Social Security because it started the 90-day clock that will determine your January 2027 raise. Before we get into it, subscribe to this channel right now and turn on the bell. Changes like these arrive without personal letters and without reminders. The people subscribed here find out while there is still time to act. Subscribe now and let's get into it. Rule change 1. The Treasury Department's enforcement of the federal paper check elimination moved into active enforcement mode as of July 1st, 2026. And for the seniors who are still receiving Social Security by paper check and have not made the switch to electronic payment, the consequence is not a warning. It is a frozen payment, not delayed, not held. Frozen, meaning your monthly income stops arriving until you complete the transition to direct deposit or the Direct Express prepaid card. And the process of unfreezing a frozen payment can take days or even weeks while your bills continue arriving on scheduled as of July 2026. Fewer than 1% of Social Security recipients still receive paper checks, but 1% of 75 million beneficiaries is still 750,000 people. And every one of those 750,000 people is now in active risk of a frozen payment with no advance warning arriving before it happens. The three options for making the transition are direct deposit to a bank account set up at ssa.gov/myaccount or at any SSA field office with a voided check. The Direct Express prepaid MasterCard debit card for seniors with no bank account available at godirect.gov or by calling 1-800-967-6857 or a hardship waiver through the Treasury at 1-877-874-4699 for seniors with a documented barrier to electronic payment. If you are already on direct deposit, which most recipients are, this rule change still affects you in an indirect way because scammers know that July 1st triggered active enforcement of the paper check ban, and they are now calling seniors and telling them their account has been flagged for the payment transition and they need to verify their bank information immediately or their next deposit will be held. That call is always a scam. SSA does not call recipients about payment transitions. Treasury does not call recipients. Your bank does not call you on behalf of SSA. Any caller claiming your account has been flagged for the paper check transition and asking for your bank information over the phone is a criminal. Hang up immediately. Rule change 2. On July 1st, 2026, Medicare did something it has never done in its 61-year history. For the first time since Medicare was created in 1965, the program began covering weight loss medications, and for eligible seniors, it is saving up to $649 per month starting now. The program is called the Medicare GLP-1 Bridge, and it allows eligible Medicare Part D beneficiaries to access 3 specific weight loss medications for a flat $50 monthly copayment. The 3 medications covered are Wegovy, Zepbound in the KwikPen formulation, and Foundayo. Without this coverage, Zepbound in the KwikPen formulation was costing seniors up to $699 per month. Out of pocket, Wegovy cost up to $299. Foundayo up to $349. All 3 are now available for $50 under the GLP-1 Bridge.to qualify. You must be enrolled in a Medicare Part D plan. The BMI criteria are as follows. A BMI of 35 or higher qualifies automatically. A BMI of 30 or higher qualifies If you also have heart failure, uncontrolled hypertension, or chronic kidney disease, an A BMI of 27 or higher qualifies if you have prediabetes, a history of heart attack, stroke, or peripheral artery disease. Point two things most people are not being told about this program. First, the $50 copay does not count toward your Part D annual out-of-pocket cap of $2,100. It sits entirely outside the standard Part D benefit structure. Second, if you are already receiving a GLP-1 medication through Part D for diabetes or a cardiovascular condition, you are not eligible for the bridge. It only covers weight management use that was not previously covered. The program runs through December 31st, 2027. It is a demonstration program, not a permanent benefit. To access it, call your doctor this week and ask specifically for a prior authorization for the Medicare GLP-1 Bridge program. Those 6 words, Medicare GLP-1 Bridge prior authorization, are what your doctor needs to hear to start the process. Rule Change 3, July 1st, 2026. Also opened the most important 90-day window in Social Security for every recipient in America. And most people watching this video do not know it is already running. The Social Security Administration calculates your annual cost of living adjustment, your January raise, using the Consumer Price Index for urban wage earners and clerical workers during 3 months only, July, August, and September, not the full year, not the last 6 months. Those 90 days alone determine what lands in your bank account every month starting January 2027. Earlier this year, when May 2026 was the most recent inflation data available, independent analysts were projecting the 2027 COLA at 3.9 to 4.2%. But based on June and early July data, inflation has been cooling faster than expected. Current tracking puts the 2027 COLA in the range of 2.9 to 3.4%. That is a meaningful difference from what was projected in May, at 3% instead of 4%, on an average benefit of $2,071. The difference in your monthly raise is approximately $21 per month that most seniors were expecting in May, not receive. And here is the additional layer. That makes the COLA number only half the story. Whatever your 2027 COLA turns out to be, Medicare Part B premiums are expected to rise again in 2027. In 2026, a $17.90 Medicare premium increase wiped out 32% of the average COLA before it reached anyone's bank account. CMS will announce the 2027 Medicare Part B premium in November 2026. That number, combined with the official COLA announcement in October, will tell you the real net amount that lands in your January 2027 check. Plan for a net increase smaller than whatever the COLA percentage headline says. Now let me give you the action steps for all 3 rule changes, because the window to act on each one is different, and knowing the deadline for each matters. For Rule Change 1, the paper check enforcement. If you or anyone you know is still receiving a Social Security paper check, this is the most urgent action. In this entire video, the window to switch before your payment is frozen is now, not next month. Go to ssa.gov/myaccount for direct deposit. Go to godirect.gov for the Direct Express card. Call 1-877-874-4699 for a hardship waiver. Act this week. For Rule Change 2, the Medicare GLP-1 Bridge. If you have Medicare Part D and a BMI that meets any of the 3 criteria, call your doctor this week. Ask for a prior authorization for the Medicare GLP-1 Bridge program. The program is live. The $50 copay is available now. You do not need to wait for open enrollment. You do not need to change your Part D plan. You call your doctor, and they submit the authorization. For Rule Change 3, the COLA measurement window. The action step here does not require a phone call or a form. It requires one adjustment to your planning assumptions. Do not budget your 2027 household around a 4% raise. Budget around 3% or less. If the COLA comes in higher, you have a pleasant surprise. If you planned around 4% and it comes in at 3%, you have a January budget shortfall. Also for Rule Change 3, mark 2 dates in your calendar. Mid-August 2026, when the Bureau of Labor Statistics releases the July CPIW data. This is your first real look at where the 2027 COLA is heading. And mid-October 2026, when the Social Security Administration officially announces the 2027 COLA. Between those 2 dates, you will have an increasingly accurate picture of exactly what arrives in your January check. And finally, verify your identity on your My Social Security account at ssa.gov/myaccount if you have not already done so through login.gov or id.me. Unverified accounts are being targeted by scammers who use stolen Social Security numbers to redirect direct deposit payments to their own prepaid cards. Verification prevents this specific attack completely. So here is the complete picture of the 3 rule changes that hit seniors on July 1st, 2026. Rule Change 1, Treasuries. Active enforcement of the paper check ban. 750,000 seniors are at immediate risk of a frozen payment. If you or anyone you know is still on paper check, switch to direct deposit at ssa.gov, the Direct Express card at godirect.gov, or apply for a hardship waiver through Treasury. Act this week. Any caller claiming your account has been flagged for this transition and asking for your bank information is a scammer. Hang up. Rule Change 2, the Medicare GLP-1 bridge launched July 1st. Wegovy, Zepbound, and Foundayo are now available to eligible Part D enrollees for $50 per month. The previous cost was up to $699 per month. To access it, call your doctor and ask for a prior authorization for the Medicare GLP-1 bridge. The program runs through December 31st, 2027. Rule Change 3, the 2027 COLA measurement window open July 1st. July, August, and September. Inflation data determines your January 2027 raise. Current tracking puts the range at 2.9 to 3.4%, lower than the 3.9 to 4.2% projected in May. Budget, around 3%. Watch the August BLS release. And remember that Medicare premiums will take a portion of whatever the COLA turns out to be. 3 rule changes. July 1st. No letters, no phone calls, no personal notifications from any federal agency to any of the 75 million seniors affected. The information was published on government websites, SSA blog posts, CMS press releases, and the 3-month measurement window started running on its own schedule, whether anyone was watching or not. Subscribe. Share this with every senior you know, especially anyone still receiving a paper Social Security check, anyone paying full price for Wegovy or Zepbound, and anyone who has not yet adjusted their 2027 budget away from the 4% COLA projection. And I will see you in the next one.